Morning, this is Baby Cat from the Do-It-Yourself World, the Off-Grid Project. It's a little bit hazy window because the humidity's been so bad, and then she brushes against it. So it's partly sunny, partly cloudy. It was supposed to rain all day, but it didn't, thankfully. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm only just now hauling out the camera because I don't want to bore you with all this work. My little Harbor Freight generator is limping along. It runs, and remember I had a blown head gasket and there was a gap about that big, and what I did is just sort of push the metal back in place and it's running for now. I ordered some head gasket material from Napa, so I'm going to cut out a head gasket. It should be there tomorrow. I just hope this runs today for me, because it's more efficient for what I'm doing right now, which is simply sanding and sanding and sanding and sanding all day. Redoing the countertop after the gluing. The glue turned out to be a nightmare. Let me show you something. I like to review products, and sometimes I give you a bad review. Do not buy this junk. Harbor Freight wood glue. Durable, waterproof, sandable. This stuff is disgusting. First of all, it is a nightmare to squeeze out of the bottle. Your hand becomes absolutely exhausted squeezing this stuff because it hardly comes out at all. I don't know if it's maybe older batch that I got or too thick. There's no date or anything on it, but this is absolute garbage. I have to squeeze with all my strength to get glue out. Holding it upside down forever does nothing. You have to squeeze, regardless, you have to squeeze. I'll probably only get half the bottle used in the end because you won't be able to squeeze hard enough to get this stuff out. And a nightmare when you're sanding. This stuff turns into a, I don't know if you can see that right there. It turns into a, like a rubbery substance as you're trying to sand it, and it gums up the sander, the sandpaper. It's making a mess. This, don't buy it. Garbage. Garbage, garbage. I am not at all pleased with the way it comes out, the way it works, and it's absolutely not sandable. I've been working at this countertop all morning. It's 1 o'clock now, and I've been working all morning trying to get the disgusting glue and the residue from it off because it becomes like a rubbery mess. So, and this part here is as good as I'm going to get it. I don't know if you can see the little bits of shiny spots here and there, and the surfaces where it's sanded. The sanded surfaces are the top surface of the glue, and the shiny spots is the polyurethane that I couldn't reach because the glue is just giving me such a nightmare. This is a good couple hours of work right here. Just sanding, 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 sanding. Trying to get that gummy, rubbery mess off there. Garbage. I haven't even touched the back section at all yet. I don't look forward to it. I concentrated really heavily here, and I got to come back and run over this side again because it's a lot of work, and this is going to be the most visible, and I just keep coming up the sandpaper. So anyway, there probably is not going to be a whole lot of video because this is just taking me all day to sand. It's going to be really nice when it's done. It'll be beautiful. And I do have the gap sealed on the cracks, so there won't be any food getting in there now. I'm going to take a damp rag and wipe this and wash it when I'm done, though. There's a lot of residue when I wipe it with my hand. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to have lunch and then come back to this later and try to finish it up. Well, I got some packages in the mail. Now these are eBay orders for my tiny house on wheels. I'm pretty sure that's what's in here anyway. This is a wicked sharp knife that I forgot to show that Bison from Buggin' In gave me. It's a beautiful handmade knife from a file. Really beautiful and super razor sharp. The name on it is Enza USA, and it's, can you see that? Really beautiful work on that thing with a tiny little sheath. So I'd forgotten to show that in that package that he had given me the other day. So this is some very beneficial items for my tiny house on wheels. What we have here means I can put up my lighting that I bought the other day, a while back I should say. This is G4 sockets, silicone covered wire with little tiny plugs. Let me get a light bulb. The G4 light bulb, the light bulbs I bought previously, plug into here. I don't know which is plus and minus actually. I have to see if I can see it later. I don't know that that matters on these, if they're labeled. Anyway, there we have a proper connection. Nice and all official and right and good. So I've got a bunch of them, because one of the projects, hopefully if I get to it this week, is to put up a bunch of lighting in this place because it's way too dark in here. And this was a eBay find. I look around for things that I think I can use, that it might be beneficial for the tiny house on wheels or whatever I'm working on at the time. And I look for 99 cents free shipping, 0 bids, and I bid on a bunch. And sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose. In this case, I won a bunch. I don't know why those are sitting in there loose, that's odd. We have here a bunch of LED heat sinks. It's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know why there's 9 sitting there. Gonna have to check the numbers here, make sure everything came out right. Here we have, see, this is all ended up being from the same distributor anyway, but that's why it all came in 2 packages together. Here we have, should be, what is it, 20 or 50? These are 1 watt LEDs. Super bright little tiny things. 1 watt LED lights with heatsink. All together, nice and neat. This was like something like $1. I mean, look at that, free shipping. I don't know how China can do it. I just don't know how they can do it. And then here was, I believe this must be the 100 heat sinks. I'm not going to pull them all out. Yes, it is 100 heat sinks. 1 watt LED heat sinks. So one time I bought a bunch of LEDs, not realizing, that was a long time ago. I bought a whole mess of the 1 watt LEDs, not realizing that you needed heat sinks. And at that time the heat sinks were going for like a couple dollars a piece. So there I've got well over 100. I think it's probably 150. I gotta double check my purchase and count what I've got here. So these are bright LEDs. I'll be showing you that later on. I'll have to solder in some wires and show you how nicely these work. But 1 watt LEDs with heat sinks. This was some nice eBay wins. So I am going to have some really awesome lighting in this tiny house on wheels. And the price is incredibly cheap. So there's my lighting. Alright, that's all good. Now I'll be testing those in a little while here. But now I've got some more packages. I'm going to open this sideways. This says it's from Walmart, so this must be from somebody, because I didn't order anything from Walmart. I'm trying to hide my address for those of you that don't already know it. Although it was passed around by my trolls a while back. Anyway. Alright, let's bring this over here and see what we got. Hold on a second. Sorry, I'm off the screen here. Oh, look at that. That's funny. Baby cat is gonna be happy. Oh, let me go get the baby cat. Hold on a minute. She's got to be in part of this. I'm in the new house. This is for you, baby cat. This is yours. Look here. She's all excited. She thought she was going to get chipmunks. Look here. This is for you. Want to see this? Look here. Want to see what this is? Look here. Look. Look here, baby. It's baby treats. Hey. She's smelling the other box. Let me pop this open. I was curious. This is from Irish Kitty. I recognize the name. So the baby cat will have a new toy in the new home. Let's see, how's it work? Baby cat, look what we got here. Look at that. That's a weird feeling material. Come here. Come on. Don't scratch the counter, you goofball. She jumps up on the counter. I think she likes it. Oops. What do you think? Huh? Do you like it? Makes noises when you walk in it. Well, this is going to be hours of fun. What do you think? Huh? Weird, it crinkles when you go through it. Noisy. Well, I'll put that upstairs. That'll stay right here in the new house for her. She can play with that all the time. Well, if she wasn't so distracted looking for chipmunks right now, she'd say thank you. Wouldn't you, baby cat? Huh? Hey, I'm talking to you. Well, thank you. Baby cat will appreciate it later, I'm sure. The chipmunks are out in force right now, harvesting acorns and nuts, and she can't think of anything else right at this moment. And she's been looking out the window, so when I grabbed her, she thought she was going to chase chipmunks. I have to take the camera out one day and show you how we go after chipmunks. She won't hurt them. She never hurts an animal, unfortunately, because she's supposed to be a mouser. But I'll show you one day how she likes to chase after them, and it's pretty fun. So, thank you, Irish Kitty. And some treats for the baby cat. Now here's another Walmart package, so I'm going to, well, I'm not better than I even try to guess. I think it might be if it's from the same person, because it came at the same time today. Let's see what we have here. Oh yeah, baby is hooked up. Baby cat, come here. This is for you. Come here. Come on. There's a special toy for the baby. It's a squeaky toy. Oh, you guys are gonna love this. Okay. Watch. She's gonna come up here right now. Baby. There you go. Hey, come on. She gets excited at that noise. She knows what that is. I have one of these from long ago. I was thinking one day I'm going to have to get another, because if that ever wears out... Boy, that is a noisy thing, isn't it? Just a minute, let's get this out the package. You are excited, aren't you? How many clips do they have on that thing? Come on, show them how you can stand up like a bear. Well, thank you for the baby cat toys. I'm sure we're going to have hours of fun with this. She right now is looking for chipmunks. She's on the prowl for chipmunks. But these things are really neat. Really, really fun. Oh, now you want it, don't you? Now that I'm putting it away. Well, thank you. Okay, I've got one of these lights in the socket. The G4 LED light bulb. And I'm going to hold it onto the negative terminal here with my finger and touch that onto the positive. Give you an idea, it's a warm white LED. Gives off a lot of light all the way around. Really nice. Nice amount of light. Wow. Blinding. So, there's that. Wow, I can't see now, I'm seeing spots. That's going to be really good in here for my lamps that I'm going to make. So I'll be doing that and I'll show you that later on sometime. Baby cat and I were chasing chipmunks earlier, and then I put her back in the RV, and you probably don't notice the difference, but I took all the logs that were scattered out here, those are the smaller ones, and I stacked them up. I've got a pile I'm starting here behind the RV, behind the tiny house. I can't be calling that an RV. It's a very small stack, but it's this is going to be the immediate burn pile, and there's some household goods that are waiting to go in the tiny house. But this is 2 rows that'll be the immediate burn pile for the winter, and then I'll figure a way to have a cover over this to keep it dry. Right now, actually, the rain doesn't hurt it at all because it dries right off the next day. But wintertime, obviously, I'm going to have to keep that covered. So, anyway, I just wanted to tell you what I've been up to, because I see people are upset when I show the fun stuff only, but not the work that I've been doing. But when I'm working out here cutting logs all day long, it's just not exciting. It's not at all interesting for video work to show you the same thing every day. And that's what I've been concentrating on a lot recently, getting firewood going. So the tiny house has been on hold. John has been busy, by the way, with family activities and things, so I haven't seen him in 2 weeks. This is going on the 3rd week since John has been over. I'm sure you all miss him, but he'll be back soon. We'll be doing the siding outside one day, and I still got to get a lot of work done in here. So I've got some black stovepipe that I need to cut in half and make heat shielding for that up there. That's a project I got planned, and right now what I'm doing is looking at my lighting situation because it's so dark in here. And I was sitting here taking little scraps of wood and running to and fro trying to figure out, I want to have indirect lighting up in the living room. So I'm trying to figure how I best want to run that. I'm thinking in the end it's going to be along 3 walls only, because I really like this decorative lip here, and I think that if I added anything to it, it would actually take away from the appearance as it stands. And I don't want to ruin how it looks, so I'm thinking what I'll end up doing is running the indirect lighting all the way along these three walls instead and back around. And I think that'll give me the effect I want. I was going to originally have all four walls, but I just don't think that'll look right. So I'm checking pieces of scrap. I want to use scrap that I have laying out there already and piece it in here, but yet have it look very nice. So I'm thinking about firing up the generator and the table saw and ripping some strips thinner. I've got some pieces that I had cut too thin for my radiant foil use, furring strips that I had cut, and they were too thin. And then I'm going to use probably 1.5 inch wide strips of trim pieces that I have. Well, that's what I'm going to experiment with anyway. I want to do one and tack it up and then run the end of this light in there and see how it looks. So I think I might still get that done tonight, because I definitely badly need lighting in here. Hope it's as bright as in there as the camera's showing it. I'm about to put this thin piece up. I cut it on the table saw out of some scrap, out of my scrap. This is a piece I wasn't going to use, and I cut it to the size I wanted it. And compressor. Now I'm going to use my impact, or my brad nailer, to drive that up in there. I'm making this up as I go along, but this is my indirect lighting plan here. It's awkward with the hoses and everything. My indirect lighting plan. So that doesn't need a lot, really, to hold it up. There's not going to be any weight or force on that. Now, I'm going to go out and clean a piece. I've got to figure out what size I want, but I want to try using the 1.5 inch wide strips on there. And I'm going to go shave the dirty edge off one so that the clean edge is showing. I've got a lot of the, what I got to compare with. Here, I've got a lot of this size pieces, a lot extra. When I shave these, I get 2 per 2x4, and I've only been using one of these strips for every, actually one 2x4 gives me 3 rows and then 2 ends, and I've only been using one end on my pattern. See, there's the 3 rows and an end, so I've got a bunch of ends left over, which I'm going to try to use up in here for my indirect lighting. So that's the plan. I'm going to go and get that other piece and put it up on the other side, and then measure whatever I need for that. It's getting really dark out, so I'll be running out of light soon, and I hope I can pull this off. Otherwise I'll be running with a headlamp, which is not really safe with a table saw and everything. But it's not even 6 o'clock yet. I mean, what are you going to do? It gets dark, and I'm going to have to start working on outdoor lighting soon. But I got a lot of work to do. I can't be going in at 6 o'clock at night, and the RV batteries are dead anyway, because there's not enough daylight hours anymore, and there's no wind yet for the wind turbines, even if they were up. So with that said, I'm going to go shave off the pieces I need to make this trim, and I'll be back in a minute. Well, this is a total experiment here. I'm not quite sure how this is going to look until I do it. So there's the piece, fits in. Oops, does it not fit in? Why does it not fit in? It's too tight. Maybe tight is okay. How tight are you? Yeah, I'm going to shave that a tiny bit off. Just a tiny bit. I'll be right back. Okay, I just have it wedged in. I haven't nailed it yet because I really want to see how this looks before I make it permanent. I don't know if this is going to... Oh, standing on it. It's like a string of spaghetti or something here. Okay. I just want to string that up in there. It's really fighting me. This is awkward stuff to work with, especially when the end is bent and folded. It wants to stay that way. So I just want to get an idea how this is going to look before I make it permanent. It's awkward to get in there at best. Come on now. Yeah, this is where help is a good thing to have. Ooh, wow. Pretty. I don't know if the lip is big enough for my liking, but it's pretty. Unfortunately, I'm going to see the LEDs a little. Oh, maybe not. I can shove them in a little. I think it's going to be okay. The idea is for indirect LED lighting, so I think it's going to be okay. The other thing is I don't want to have... I want to use scrap that I already have laying around, so that's another reason I'm trying to work with this string of... or with this, oops, less than optimal wood. I've got less than optimal cables for the air compressor. Hose, I should say. It's a little warped, so I'm giving it a couple extra. Okay, now, am I still recording? Yes. All right. Before I go too wild in here, I just want to make sure that's going to look alright. I want the LEDs to be hidden and still shine on the roof at the ceiling. I think it's going to work. Yeah, I think it'll have the effect I want. Indirect LED lighting. Looks sort of cool. I think it'll do the job. Alright, well, I'm going to go out there and cut the other strips. Now I got to get my headlamp on. It's getting dark outside. But I'll have this done tonight. To trim up the lip for the indirect lighting all the way around. But it's going to be absolutely impossible to do this right now. I will need to solder. It came together neatly. The corners are perfect. All the way across. It looks incredible when I'm holding it, when I'm holding the lights in place. I've obviously got to put a piece of corner trim all the way down there yet. I'm going to have to solder the lights in order to make this work because these have to be stripped. They have to be cut and soldered together with wires. So I don't have enough daylight to do that right now, unfortunately. And the RV has no power to play with, so that's going to have to wait right now. It's going to be really pretty in here. It's going to look really nice. I'm going to have to run a wire as well. So I'm going to have to run a wire down. Actually, I think I'm going to go up the wire for the lighting. Or all the wires I think is going to run upstairs along the edge of the loft and then come down through wherever it's needed, because I've got things interrupting the floor everywhere. Here I've got the doorway interrupting, so I can't run across this wall. I can't run the wires down across this wall, and I don't want to run them up through there because the cabinets will be in the way there. So I think the best place is I'll come up in the back of the kitchen corner, the back corner of the kitchen, up the wall, because that's the battery bank will be right behind the kitchen, and I'll run the wires up the wall and all along the loft and down wherever it's needed. Come here for a light switch for the entry, and right over there for a light switch in the corner for the living room lighting. Actually, I'll have a few different light switches over there because I'll have I'm going to run I'm going to have the on-off for the indirect lighting, and I'm going to have spotlights up in there as well. So I'll be figuring that out later, how the spotlights are going to be put in. But I'm going to have reading lamps up in there. So, for now, this is it. Good night, everybody. Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project. Standing here in my tiny cottage. Good night.